What's going on, world? It is I, Timmésha Burgess, creator of this here fireside chats for global women, because turning pain into power is sexy. So listen, I promise y'all, I'm going to do so much better with trying to keep these videos under 10 minutes. I am doing my best, right? But it's a fireside chat, right? Meaning we have to dive in. I have to dive in and give you all that comes to me. So I will do my best, I promise. So let me just jump right into it. To those of you who are subscribed here, thank you so much. Obviously, what I say resonates with you on a deeper level, and I'm happy to know it. So continue to be a part of this tribe. Invite others to this fireside. Come here and have these conversations with me. I want to hear from y'all, okay? To those of you who have not subscribed yet, what the hell are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Love me like you do. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like, and share this video, and make sure you comment down below. So without further ado, let's get started. So those of you who have been following me for some time and are keeping up with what I'm doing as far as my work in reproductive health and sexuality education, you'll know that I was invited to speak at a conference in Denver, Colorado in October. At this conference, there were just amazing people there from all walks of life, people who have very diverse views on sexuality and sex education and sexuality education and sensuality as well. And some of the practices that a lot of the people who attended this conference are part of, are just very, very diverse ways of practicing and living and understanding this thing we call sexuality. But I want to point out that there was this one young lady in the audience. When I say young lady, maybe she was about, I don't know, mid to late 30s, Caucasian female, very, very full-figured, heavy-set Caucasian female. I was one of the only Black females there. There was about 3 Black females there, and everybody else were white or white American folks. Anyway, there was this presenter who was presenting at the time, and I was sitting in the audience, and it was right after I presented, and her presentation was on kink. Oh no, excuse me. Her presentation was on something called cuckolding. Okay, if you don't know what that is, you can look it up. It's not my circle of competence, and it's not something that I teach or speak about. There are people who do, and there was a woman there who was speaking on that, and it incorporated these kink aspects of what people think kink is, right? Listen, everything is defined differently. People define things in many different ways, right? Kink to some people can be spanking somebody on the butt, and that's considered kinky. To me, that's like walking to the mailbox. I mean, to me, slapping somebody on the butt is like laughable, right? To me, it's simple, very simple, but that's my business. Anyway, let's keep going. So she talked about these aspects of kink, and she mentioned how her and her husband, now this is a white woman that was presenting, and her husband is a Black man, and she mentioned how her and her husband are involved in this thing called cuckolding, and I believe it has something to do with where you participate, where the partners have multiple partners, kind of like swingers. I think it incorporates swinging, and the couples, they enjoy being with other people in the presence of their mate. Okay. And so she talked about how her and her husband, they've been married 15, 20 years, and this has been their lifestyle. Okay. And so there was a graph or some research that the presenter posted, and it was a graph, and it had some percentages of couples who participated in this type of lifestyle, and the demographics were based on skin color. Y'all, it's so funny, which is, I guess, kind of a no-brainer too, but those men who were in coupled partnerships or relationships with women of color, the ratios were very, very low. The numbers were very, very low, meaning Meaning, there's a lot of us sisters who were not down with the lifestyle, okay? And so when she posted the numbers of the stats, I burst out laughing, y'all. I burst out laughing. And when I laughed, other people laughed. And the other two black women in the room laughed too. And so the presenter said, "Tell me why you laugh." She kind of laughed too. She said, "Tell me why you laugh." I said, "Transparently speaking, we don't like to share." I'm just going to put it like that. We don't like to share. And, and so she just kind of shook her head. Then there was a young woman, again, 30, 40s, maybe late 30s, early 40s, Caucasian young woman, middle-aged woman, whatever, heavyset, okay? She's in the audience. She's a couple rows behind. And she says, in so many words, and I'm paraphrasing, she says, "Well, this is why she said, I've read some research to say that this is why some black men rather date white women." All right. Some black women would rather date white women because, some black men would rather date white women because black women aren't kinky, right? Are considered not kinky or are not open to this type of lifestyle. And so there's just research to suggest that. She tried to bring it on the research, right? There's research to suggest that that's why black men are now dating white women. Now, I said it very clear, right? But the way that she was, when she was saying this, she was stuttering so much, y'all. She was looking over at me and like, what I read that. Let me figure out how to say this. Right? That's what she said. And I said, "Just say it." I said, "I already know where you're going, but just say it. Don't try to sugarcoat it. Don't try to beat around the bush. Just say what you want to say." And then she kind of got it out. And I chuckled, and the room was quiet. All the white folks looked over at us black women like, "Oh, what you gonna say? What's gonna happen now?" I guess they thought that we were gonna be offended by what she said, or that there would be some problem or some combative energy based on what she said, and it wasn't. But what I did do was take the time to educate her on what she clearly didn't know, not just culturally, but what she lacked understanding on. But first I had to make a joke before I educated her. And I said, "You know what?" I said, "I already knew what you were going to say, and I'm glad you were able to get it out. But here's what I'm going to say. Number one, you would be doing us a favor by taking them off of our hands. Okay?" "Thank you for your service, honey." To those black men who she presumed are no longer interested in black women, because the presumption is, or the assumption is, black women aren't kinky enough for them. Depending on your level of kink, you are doing us a favor, Becky and Sarah and Jessica. Thank you so much for taking them off our hands. Okay? Thank you so much for your service. That's number one. Number two, these are most likely black men who black women have probably turned away from a long time ago. Not because listen, again, everybody's definition of what is kinky differs across the board, right? To each his own, whatever floats your boat. I'm not quite sure what the specifics are on these certain black men. She say no longer want to date black women and go into white women because they're more kinky, right? The presumption is that. But let me tell you something. If your idea of kinky is bringing a donkey into the bedroom, putting a ferret up your hoo-ha, okay? If your idea of kinky involves inhumane things, then you're damn right. Sisters are not going for it. And not just because we're black, but because we're smart. Right? Not because we're black, but because we have common freaking sense. Not because we're black, but because we have morals. Not because we're black, but because we have integrity. It don't take all that for us, okay? It don't take all that, all right? That is just not our stilo for the majority of us. If that is your idea of kinky, then you're absolutely right. Most black women are not interested. Why? Because our mamas taught us better than that. And number 3, there's a common misconception that sisters are waiting on Tyrones. There's a common misconception that sisters are sitting around waiting on Marcus and them. Let me tell you something. To the white chocolate sister who presumes that black men are turning away from black women because we're not kinky enough. Do you think we are shedding a tear? Do you think we are crying? Do you think we are worried? Do you think we are lonely? Let me tell you something. Kevin, Scott, Jake, okay, are lined up around the corner for us sisters. In case you didn't know, newsflash for you, honey, we are not sitting around waiting on Tyrone. Because your cousin, Paul, has been beating down our doors for a very long time. And the majority of us melanin folks, women, were raised differently. We were raised to think and believe that we were to date and marry those who look like us. Well, honey, this is a new day and a new time. We are not tripping on the Tyrones and the Marcuses that are beating down your doors because you're more kinky. Have at them, honey. Take them. Take them. Thank you. Go on, honey. Take a chance, right? Thank you. Because Paul and Jacob and Tom and Ronald love us very, very, very much and are beating down our doors every day. And guess what? We have opened the doors to them. So, don't worry about us, dear. Your cousins are treating us very, very well. And we appreciate it. So, I just want to share that, sisters, for those of you on this journey. Listen, I don't care what the statistics are saying. I don't care what the research is saying, whatever it is. To each its own. All I'm saying is you don't need to struggle with Tyrone. Go and get you a Jacob. Go and get you a Scott. They would be happy to receive you and treat you well. And you will not be required to be any more kinky than you already are. You won't have to be required to be any more kinky than our hair already is. Anyway, I'll see y'all next time. This is Fireside Chats for Global Women, because turning pain into power is sexy. I hope y'all enjoying these chats. Again, thank you for subscribing here. Make sure you get your copy of Activate: Unorthodox Philosophies that Explore Anxiety, Depression, and Suicidal Thoughts as Symptoms of Suppressed Superpower. And make sure you get your merch. Fear of Feminine Power is a mental disorder, as well as you know what else. Listen, go to my link tree. Click the link, see the new merch that's coming. Also, check out Patreon.com/Alchemynity. There are some new membership services that I am bringing to the forefront, and I can't wait to share them with you, with those of you that it's meant for. So I'll see y'all on the next cast. I'll see y'all on the next chat. Ciao for now.